Rockeyez would like to welcome Marcos Leal, Shattered Sun. Hey, man, what's up? What's going on?
How's it going, brother? Good to be here.
Great, great. Yeah, and back in the day, I would say the 80s and the early 90s and stuff like that, I worked for a magazine called Metal Forces from the UK, and all we did was cover mainly thrash and a little bit of glam and stuff like that. But back in the day, I got to see Testament, Exodus, Dark Angel, all these other bands, and now there seems like a resurgence, in your style of music. What do you feel about that?
I feel it's strong. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't 100% say, we're a 100% thrash band. You know what I mean? We have a bunch of different influences, but, we just came off of a very major thrash tour, and there's definitely a resurgence. We saw it every night. We had to earn it every single night, you know what I mean, from those fans. And,
right.
We're just very thankful to be a part of it, you know what I mean? It's a huge opportunity and a huge deal for us.
Cool. Now, I'm a little bit aged and stuff like that, so I can't get in no pit. But do they still have a pit?
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. And it was awesome, you know what I mean? Not only, seeing Exodus and Testament every night and seeing how their fans were reacting, but, we really had a job out there, and it was really our job to set the tone for the night, you know what I mean? And let's face it, you know what I mean? Those fans are going to see, Testament and Exodus, and they don't care about a new band, you know what I mean, or any ambitions of a new band. But every single night, we went out there, we earned it, and we earned their respect and attention, and we're getting those pits started early, you know what I mean. So it's awesome, man. It's a great thing that we were a part of.
Right. Now, like you said, being the opening act or support act and stuff like that, how really tough is it to get them guys going?
It depends. It varies every city. Some cities were tougher than others, but I think with a band like us, we couldn't go out there with the mindset that, hey, we're gonna make these guys pit from song one to the last note we play. You know what I mean? It was just a little unrealistic. We just had to get out there, and at first people would kind of just look at us and see, who are these guys? What are these guys about? I've never heard of them. And it usually would take about 30 seconds to, the end of the first song to where they finally figured out what we were about and, got really into it. And it was just awesome, man. Some nights were really awesome. Some nights were freaking epic, you know what I mean? So it varied every single night.
Right. Now, like you say, you played with Testament, Exodus, and stuff like that. And really, your music, like you said, is really not pure thrash. I mean, you got some melodic stuff on that CD, Hope Within Hatred. And, I listened to it yesterday and today. I mean, it has really good balance from being a hardcore fan, of thrash. Yeah. And also, you got the melodic stuff, like a little bit of, the upbeat tempo ones like Metallica a little bit and stuff like that. Yeah. You really got a diverse album out there, and so I guess you got to draw in some fans from all them shows and get good sales on the CD and stuff like that. And tell me a little bit about Hope Within Hatred.
When we went into to write this album, this was before we had Victory Records. This was before we had breaking bands with Johnny Zula and Chuck Billy and Maria Ferrero. So we just went in at a time in our lives where it was kind of like, you're either going to do this or you're going to do that. And where we come from, it's about the oil field. You know what I mean? And, you graduate high school and, a week after that, you're working for an oil field company. And before you know it, you're 50, 60 years old, been working for that company, 20, 30 years. And that's just the way of life down here. And we were at that crossroad to where it's like, okay, are we going to really do this and go all in and go out and do this the right way? Or are we just going to wind up being on an oil rig the rest of our lives?
Right.
And we kind of refused to accept that. So we went in with the mindset like, hey, let's write the best that we can write, our ability to try and attract some management or try and attract a label. And that was the mindset going in, you know what I mean? We wanted to make our songs bigger. We wanted to make great songs, you know what I mean? Right. Not be the best metal band or not be the best at this or the best at that, but kind of do what our our idols did, and they just wrote great songs that lasted through time. You know what I mean? And we just went in with that mindset, and thank God that all the cards fell the way they did. You know what I mean? Because it was a roller coaster after that.
Cool. Now, Texas metal. What do you consider Texas metal? Because like all the stuff I was reading, it says Texas metal. So what does that mean?
I would say that's something. I'd say that's something the critics, put on us a little bit. But I think, if you really want to describe our band, I would say we're just pure American metal, and I think that's what the bands from down here are doing. You know what I mean? There's no gimmick here. There's no ulterior motives. We're musicians that did not have the chance to do this. And they're getting the opportunity, so, hey, man, we're going to run with it, and we're going to really resurge, the American metal scene, you know what I mean?
Right.
For blue-collar guys.
Cool. Do you feel by having a gimmick, it really helps or hurts a band?
I mean, I can't really say because, I'm still new in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I know we're not about gimmicks. I know what we're doing. There's nothing fake about it, you know what I mean? We're, like I told you right now, we're 6 blue-collar guys, that have been given an opportunity to do what they love. And, man, all we can do is just really run with it and try and do everything we can to make good on the opportunities that have been given to us.
Right. Well, how's it feel having a #1 record on CMJ Loud Rock?
Oh, man, we definitely knocked back a few beers for that because, it's everything, from the #1, album on CMJ to just coming off the tour that we just came off of with Testament and Exodus, to the signing, to getting with Breaking Bands. It's all just been a whirlwind, stars aligned Cinderella kind of story, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because, man, if you knew the journey, that it took to get the title track of the album, Hope Within Hatred, to get that on Maria Ferrero's desk.
Right.
I mean, some people would probably consider whether or not they wanted to do this the rest of their life or not. Right. You know what I mean? And it was unreal, man. And the fact that we're here, the #1 album, the tours that are upcoming, just so thankful, man. And we're not going to let up, dude. We're not going to let up. We're going to make a name for ourselves in this industry.
Great. Now, I guess having #1, you proved that you're a band to be reckoned with, and you worked hard to get where you are. How difficult was it to actually get signed to like Victory or whatever and stuff like that?
It was very difficult, man. It was down here for where we're from, dude. I mean, who's looking in South Texas? You know what I mean? That's what we always thought of it, man. We never went in, with the intention to try and be the biggest bits in, the next Metallica or the next Testament, man. We just wanted to play metal, you know what I mean?
Right.
We didn't even think we'd ever get an opportunity, but we just kept punching at it, doing Battle of the Bands, paying $300-400 for 25 tickets just to have a chance to open up, whatever festival was coming through town. You know what I mean? It's just, we never stopped, and everybody kind of just told us the whole way coming up, man, what are you doing? You're wasting your hard-earned money. You're just throwing money into this money pit, and you're never going to go anywhere.
Right.
And we always looked at them, and we're just like, man, fuck you. We're going to show you. You know what I mean?
Cool. Right.
That's just the way it kind of spawned everything, man.
Cool. Now, when you did track-by-track video on EPK, I saw it on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
When you had to go down track by track, was it difficult, I guess, talking to a camera and, really you're not getting no feedback, I guess, and, you're telling everybody the story. And if someone has a different perception of that song, does it bother you?
No, of course not. And, when we did the track by track, the guys there at Victory made me feel very comfortable, you know what I mean? And you would think that I'm just talking to a camera, but I was actually talking to somebody, you know what I mean? And they were interacting with me, and you know what? Those meanings of the songs are, they're special to me because they're things that I've gone through. But if somebody, hears something in the song and takes it their way, hey man, that's why I made this music, or that's why we made it get lost in it, you know what I mean, and to lose yourself in whatever you're portraying it as and let it be your own, you know what I mean? That's the beauty of music.
Right. Now, listening to the CD, two songs really stuck out as my favorites. One was 281, and one was Rain Over Me. Can you tell me anything about them two songs?
Yeah, dude. 281 is something very, very special. You know, when we had first got with Johnny and Chuck and everybody, they were talking about, you know, maybe doing an acoustic song or a ballad, and that just kind of wasn't our game at the time, and we didn't really know if we wanted to do that, and we just kind of sat down and said, hey, well, you know, if we're gonna do an acoustic song, we're not gonna do, you know, the normal radio rock thing. Like, we're gonna make a musical song that means something. And when I was writing the lyrics, you know, I knew I wanted to write it about, you know, working on the road and being on the road and being away from your family. You know, not only do we do that in the band, but we're all affiliated with the oil field, so, and all of our families are, all of our friends are, so it's like everybody lives that life down here. And when I was writing the lyrics kind of about coming home, you know, the one thing that kept popping in my head was 281, and it's a highway. Once you get into San Antonio, the highway called 281 South takes you all the way down to our hometown, and every time we see that sign, it's just like this huge sigh of relief, like, oh man, just 3 hours away from home, you know what I mean? And we're there, you know what I mean? And we had thought of a lot of different names for that song, but I remember I kept saying, man, I want to name it 281, and there was some resistance on it, but I think in the end, it symbolizes, you know, that hardship of working on the road and having to do something, you know, it might not be, you know, something that helps you in the moment, but you know that what you're doing out there is helping not only your family and helping, you know, everything move forward. So it's kind of one of those things, man. I really felt that's just something about us and about people down here that people need to know about, you know?
Cool.
And as far as Rain Over Me is kind of a song about looking in the mirror, you know what I mean? Right. And, you know, when I was younger, I was, you know, into a lot of, you know, drugs and, you know, just making a lot of bad choices, man, doing a lot of things as a young man where when you're growing up, you say, you know what, that guy is going to either wind up dead or in jail. You know what I mean? And I was doing a lot of that. I mean, I made a lot of mistakes, and, you know, I live with a lot of the guilt from the mistakes that I made, you know, growing up. And it's kind of just about looking in the mirror and saying, you know, that person doesn't have control over who I am today. Right. You know what I mean? And we can't get anywhere if we're constantly running from or holding on to the past. You know what I mean? And that's just something that I know a lot of people out there have had issues with. And, you know, I'm the same way. And I hope some people, you know, interpret that song as the way I felt, you know? Right.
I guess you overcame that with a #1 record.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And things are looking up, you know, for the moment. And I just can't wait to, you know, get out there to the fans and keep working and keep showing people what we're about. You know what I mean? This is a long climb to the top, man.
Right. Being on the road with Testament and Exodus, did you get any insight in, you know, did they give you any tips or, like, you know, any recommendations or anything, you know, to watch out for or whatever?
Yeah, you know what, man? Those guys were, you know, I know Chuck's our manager, you know what I mean?
Right.
So Chuck's been there since day one, but as far as everybody else on that tour, we didn't know, you know what I mean? And we showed up as the new band, like, hey, we're opening up this thing, and here we are, you know what I mean? And they could have been, you know, the big rock stars that didn't have time for us, or we're just the opening act. But from night one, man, San Francisco, birthplace of thrash, you know, sold out show. They all took us under their wings, you know what I mean? Like Zetro, Gary Holt, you know what I mean? Tom Hunting, Eric Peterson, you know, Gene Hoglan, you know what I mean? They talk to us every day, you know, about, you know, how to, you know, treat our bodies, how to, you know what I mean? How to deal with the rigors of the road, you know what I mean? And not only that, like, you know, every night when I'd get off stage, you know, Chuck and Zet will be there and be like, hey, young man, come here, young man, I want to talk to you. They tell me about, hey man, what you're doing here, this is great. Hey man, you're doing this, and don't care about what these people think. They don't know you, but you're going to go out there and you're going to show them who you are, and
right.
Just kind of being those big brothers, you know what I mean, and
right.
having that support through the whole tour. We just grew and flourished, you know what I mean, in front of their eyes, and very, very humbled and honored to not only call those guys, our tour mates, but
right.
our brothers. You know what I mean? They showed us the ropes.
Right. So, what do you think the future holds for Shattered Sun?
I know it's going to be a personal goal of our bands, but we want to be a major name in this industry, and right now we know our position. We're the up and comers, and we need to get out there and grind our ass off, and that's what we're going to do, man. We're just going to make sure we pay all our dues the right way and do things the right way, and just continue to get across the world and get out to the fans, man. There's so many people out there right now that still don't know who we are, and I promise you, people by the end of this year, leading into next year, man, people are going to begin to look at this band in a different light, and I just can't wait for that, man. Can't wait to get out there.
Right, excellent. Shattered Sun, Marcos Leal, hope within hatred. Congratulations, and good luck in the future. And would you like to say anything in the fans?
Yeah, make sure you get out there this summer on Mayhem Fest and catch us on the Victory stage every day, man.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Marco.
No problem, man. You have a good one.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.